Hello, everyone. You're all very welcome to Underground Cinema. As you all know, it's only just a couple of weeks away before the 15th Underground Cinema Awards take place. And what we're doing at the moment is we're trying to interview as many filmmakers and actors and actresses as we possibly can on the run up to November 16th, when we'll find out who are the winners for this year's Underground Cinema Awards in the Royal Marine Hotel in Dunleary. And today I've got Maria McLeod with us. Maria is a director of a fantastic film called I Wish You Were Here, and it was also directed by your good friend Hannah as well. Maria, you're very, very welcome.
Thanks a million for having me on, Dave, and thanks so much for the nomination. The team is absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, because I mean this is an incredible achievement. So anybody that manages to pull off an independent feature film for the very first time deserves all of my respect. I've done it before myself, so I know exactly what it's like.
Oh yeah, it's literally like go big or go home. Like with us, we literally just threw ourselves straight into it, And this feature is a lot of our first. Like it's my first feature. It's Hannah's first feature. Aaron, who was our DOP and also assistant editor, it was his. So like it was just amazing just to dive right in and just back each other, support each other, and fully go for it.
Brilliant. Okay, so listen, Maria, tell us all about. Just give us the bones or synopsis of the film. What is the film all about?
Yeah, so I Wish You Were Here is a heartbreaking love story of two soulmates torn apart by a cruel twist of fate. Um, the film itself is an hour and 35 minutes, and there is twists and turns throughout. I know a lot of the audiences don't know what's up and down towards the end of it. They're literally just blown away by the amount of twists. They don't see things coming, which is great. I'm kind of not trying not to give too much away, yourself, because we just want to let people watch the film and experience it for themselves during real time. But it's one of those ones that you'll have to bring the tissues with you,
Yeah,
because there's going to be
I
some tears shed throughout.
yeah, actually, it's a type of film you have to watch twice. I watched it. I watched it again today. That's my third time watching the film. I really enjoyed it. And you're right. There's a lot of twists and turns in it. I mean, all the cast are very strong. They're all really, really good actors and actresses. Um, but I was just wondering, as I was watching it, I was saying, "My God, this is like a debut feature film." And I was trying to work out, what were the challenging aspects of, bringing the film to the big screen. What surprised you about the process?
Oh, so like for the pre-production, I found it really straightforward. Like I've only done two shorts before I've done this feature, and they were all done within a few months of each other. So you had like Subdued on, and that was my first acting debut, my writing debut. And then A Son's Love you also had in the 15th Underground International Cinema Awards one. But like the that was the first time I wrote and directed, and then we just came straight into doing a feature. And I did all the pre-production stuff myself, so I did all the casting. And as you said, like our cast, Tracy, Dan, Richard, Matt, who is the lead, and Georgia, were just absolutely amazing. They're really strong. I'm so glad they came on board and decided to do this film with me. But yeah, so I did the casting interview with them. So I sent them all part of the script, saw their interviews, did some in person, some self tapes, and I was blown away by how good they were. So it was very easy to cast this because we have we have great talent here in Cork.
Absolutely.
And then yeah, and then I went on. So when I'm writing, I actually usually do write with cast in my head. So some of them are in my head when I was writing it, and I also write with locations in my head. So as I was writing it, I knew where this is going to be shot. I always knew Ballycotton was the destination. I'm actually living down here in Ballycotton as well, and my friend says like a love story to Ballycotton, how beautiful the scenery and stuff is in it. But yeah, like I went around to the Airbnbs and I secured my locations, and as you can see from the film, I found absolute gems. Every location is perfect to every scene it's in. I knew the outdoors locations. I always kind of would love to have filmed on Spike Island, and they allowed us on, and it was just such an amazing experience. And Leisureplex and the College Commerce, and all the locations we have, they were just so supportive of us filming. So yeah, pre-production, grand and easy. The filming itself and the producing side of that, it was grand. I remember all the crew going, God, you produced the shite out of this, like it's to a T, because like we were shooting like a lot of scenes per day. We shot over 14 days. And like we all kind of lived together, so a lot of the cast lived on site where we were filming and stuff, to make things easier and to shorten our traveling to locations. And there's just a real camaraderie, and everyone really got on board. And because this was a real skeleton crew, because I funded this myself as well, with the support of my husband, and I remember everyone was just kind of double jobbing just to kind of help out, and like we were like a family, living together, working together, and just doing things to help the film, to help ourselves. And it was amazing. And then we finished that amazing experience of filming, because that's always the fun part, as you know yourself. And then I went on to the pre-production stage then with all the people in the pre-production stage. And that was the eye-opener, because I had not gone to that stage before, really, just with kind of the short. But in a feature, it's a total different ball game. It's a total different minefield. And usually you'll find that's where your pitfalls will come true. So I had a huge learning experience there. And with the music, so like we had Harda Hatter created all of our original music. So all the music in I Wish You Were Here is all composed for I Wish You Were Here. We also have songs from Stephanie Rainey, Please Don't Go. We've Fragile Thoughts by Kudos, and also Island Boy is their song. And then we had Harda Hatta has a band, and they let us use The Perfect Me for it. So there was a lot of kind of negotiating with people to get original works then, for the film. And then I don't know, I loved being in the kind of editing side of it, and going into the editing studio with the editors like Owen and Aaron, and just going in, going, okay, I want to cut here, and seeing, like, because they put it together, it was brilliant. The skeleton they put together was unreal. And then just going in to make the tweaks that kind of I wanted as a director, to make it my stamp and stuff. And then the sound, my Cam was amazing. Cam Evans, in the sound engineering, in the post production. And actually, before I forget to mention, Shane Ring was amazing on sound, because Shane was our sound engineer when we were actually filming. But he was just so attentive. I remember we were just constantly, every half hour, messing back and forth, getting new clips, listening in, making our tweaks just to make it absolutely perfect. And then Luca Mani then and Drew from Drew Records did the colour grading. And then it was great just to kind of see what they brought in, and then to make the tweaks and stuff, and just to have it all to come together. Because I remember when I first watched it, and like, as you know, I'm the lead actress in it alongside Matt Reel, who's a lead actor. And I remember like watching it, and I should have been mute. I wrote the bloody thing. And I remember my husband came in, I had the headphones on, and I was watching in the laptop, and I was literally just bawling, crying. I had literally tears running down my face, and it's coming out of my nose, like never happened before watching it. And my husband was like, what on earth is happening here? And I was like, oh my God, it's just so sad. And he was just like, you're in the bloody thing, like. And I was like, I know, it's just, oh my God, it's breaking me. And I remember he was just like, oh God. And I was like, no, seriously, watch it. And I remember he watched it, and he was just like blubbering, and you could see like the tears. And I was like, ha, you're crying too. So that experience, seeing it put together in the skeleton the first time, is just amazing. And then seeing all the tweaks as you go through, you know, you get to the point, I don't know, you've probably done it before yourself, where you get sick of watching it until the next step and something new is added in, and then you're like, ooh, let's watch it again. And it just feels like a whole different experience each time you watch it. And like, as you said, each time you watch it, you find out I've put things in. So I've put hidden things in throughout the film as well. I don't know, did you pick up on those?
Yeah, well, I don't think I did. You'll have to tell me what they are, Maria.
Yeah, because I've sat there now because I'm kind of at the point now where I'm sick of watching it because I've watched it, God, oh God, well over 100 times at this point, between all the work that's gone into it. So I love watching people watching it, and I
Yeah.
love when they look over and you get the side eye, and I just dead face give nothing away, but internally I'm dying of laughter, you know, because I know what's coming, and I'm like, buckle up, you know, but yeah, like it's yeah, we have we've put in kind of hidden things throughout the whole thing, and to
Okay.
watch people watch it the second time and get it and go, oh my God, I didn't see this the first time. And I'm like, yeah,
I can get what you're talking about when it comes to, you know, when you've written the piece and then when you finally actually get to see it on the screen, or
yeah,
when it's off the page. I mean, I haven't written a screenplay, but I've written theatre, so I've written a number of shows over the years where it's become a magic. It's very, very special. So I get where you're coming from. You know, when you're when seeing your words jump up onto the big screen, it's fantastic. And but I was also thinking about you. I mean, you wear so many hats in this. You've just rattled off about 70 different roles that you're playing in this. You know, you're acting, you're producing, you're in the edit suite. You're a one woman show. And then
I even did
I
the
was thinking about
catering.
Hannah. Oh my God, you're just a girl with so many different talents. Um, but Hannah, your co-director Hannah, like she
Yes.
must have been really, really important to you because you're on screen. You're on screen quite a lot, so she must have been really,
That.
really important right the way through the whole process.
Yeah, like Hannah Lane is amazing. Like she's really well known throughout the theatre because Hannah does a lot of theatre. She does a lot of set design and stuff. And she started then as well, just before she came on to I Wish You Were Here. She directed her first short film as well. And she was like my right hand woman. Like she was phenomenal for this. Like as you said, like I'm on, I say on screen about over 90% of the time.
Mm.
So to have Hannah behind the camera and directing was so important because like I knew in my head what I should be doing on screen, and we'd all run through our lines off screen as we're getting ready to jump into the next scene. So that's kind of how I was kind of directing things off camera. But Hannah then, like, she was instrumental for me getting my performance so I could stay in my character. If she saw someone was doing something they shouldn't, she could direct in real time. She could direct me if my face wasn't supposed to be doing something that my face was supposed to be doing, you know, from the script. And then it was great because she had one view on the film and I had another view on the film, and then we just kind of like came together. So she got her bits, I got my bits, and it was like a great kind of compromise of the arts. And even like some scenes where I had wrote a scene in, maybe I wrote it a bit more confrontational, and then she'd kind of go, oh, actually no, maybe as your character draw it back slightly and let their character come out a bit more. And we did those adaptations. And as well, like as Aaron O'Keefe, it was his debut as a director of photography. And Hannah and like Hannah would have great tips as well, you know, for like setting up shots. You know, so when I'd come over to like approve shots, it just made the whole work that bit easier, you know. So I could truly just absorb a character, and the two of them are just absolutely like fantastic. And like Hannah's great with set design, so you'll see there's like some lovely lights, and you'll see like how we've set up. So she's got a great eye for that kind of stuff. And I know, like when we shoot some scenes, I'd be in a shot, like so I can't come out and see the shot, and she'd be like, "No, it's not right, it's not right," and then she'd go in, she'd do something, she's like, "Okay, it's perfect," and then I'd go on, I'd do my bit, and I'd come off, and they're like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's absolutely, you know, perfect." So,
Yeah,
like, she was brilliant.
you sound like and like two girls that have transitioned from shorts to features and embraced it. Like, it's scary because they're two different beasts altogether. I mean, just with some of the production challenges you faced, what did you find was the most challenging as a first time feature director?
Well, what did I find challenging? Do you know what? No, it was kind of one of these things. Was just time. Time is the
Yeah,
challenger. So, like, we did long days. Like on an indie, you know yourself. When you're on low budgets, you have Airbnbs locations for only a certain length of time. It was literally just trying to fit everything in. No, the way I done it was I had it scheduled perfectly. But like, had we more money that we could have hired people and locations for like an extra day or two, that would be a whole different ball game. Like on our feature would look totally different. Do you know what I mean? Um, but we kind of just worked with what we had and made the best of what we could. Um, and yeah, I think that was it. Time is the challenge for every feature, and money, because like
yeah,
the money is the big thing. If we had more money, we could have hired extra people, extra lightings, extra things. Um, but in saying that, then like we just all work so well as a team. Like, Tracy, she plays my mom, Tracy Keating. Like Tracy was doing my hair and makeup. Like Tracy was doing like all of the she was the makeup artist on it, and she was doing the prosthetic pieces that like I won't spoil it, but there's prosthetic piece that's in it, but she did that. Like, so she was also like wearing a lot of hats, and she would do my hair and makeup. We'd be running our lines together and getting ready to go on. So when we'd go on, it'd be perfect. And I know like a lot of I Wish You Were Here were like one shots, so it's one take. We didn't do a lot of takes. We'd come out and watch them like, no, that's perfect. It doesn't need it. We can move on to the next one. So a lot of that acting is actually just so good that it was one takes.
that's great. I mean, you're right about time, because when you're working on a low budget feature, or indeed a short, you're working around everybody's schedule as well. Which, so in an ideal world, you'd love to be able to do a feature. But how many days did it take you to shoot?
14. So we shot for 13, and then there was an issue with there was some files lost, so we ended up going back and doing a 1 day reshoot. So 14 days in total.
That's fantastic. For to do something like that in 14 days, you did an excellent job. I was going to say
Thank you.
maybe around 18 days. That's what I had sort of in my head. But to pull that off in 14 days is fantastic. But of course, you're working around everybody's schedule, and time is the enemy
Yeah.
sometimes. But then, what year when did you finish? What year did you finish the shoot?
Oh, so we started 19th of August 22. And when I was arranging all of the locations, I did them in block days. So we started with two, just to throw us all in there. And because like a lot of us have like families, we're married, we have families and stuff. A lot of the cast and crew, that I didn't want to take everyone away for like, 14 days straight, because that'd be unfair in our families. So I did like blocks of 2 days here, 3 days here, 4 days the next week, another 2 days, 1 day here. So like we split them out that we'd only be gone for like, a short amount of time, and then we'd have time to relax, see family members again, and then come back in with our hats back on, recharged for the next round of block days. And we finished on the 25th of September 22. And we did that one reshoot day, I think it was the in October. It was 1 day in October. We did like a reshoot day, and that was just kind of more of um like hostel scenes and stuff. That we had to just go in, and
Yeah.
that was up in Cork and stuff. So that was just a few hours. So I think I blocked out like 4 hours in that day.
Yeah, fantastic. I was just thinking about your locations as well. Ballycotton's a gorgeous place. I mean, I know it well. I've been down to Ballycotton. It's a beautiful, as you drive in towards Ballycotton, it's absolutely magnificent. It's very picturesque. And I was thinking, when you're on your festival circuit run now at the moment, and I think it's a type of film that will go down well with an international audience as well, not just a domestic audience in Ireland. It's a really, I think it'll resonate with a lot of people, you know.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, hopefully now, we can get this up and going. I know we did actually win like some awards in other festivals as well. So one over in Vancouver, and we got some accolades then in like California and stuff. So it's kind of doing well in the international circuit, and hopefully we can like pick up now another few in our belt. I'd love to get this distributed because it is one of these ones that it will resonate with everyone. And there's a huge mental health message in this, like to never give up, that everything you've ever wanted is literally just around the corner. You just have to hold on. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
your mantra. I was reading it is dream, believe, and back yourself. Am I right?
yeah,
That,
that's it.
that's what
Dream,
you.
believe, and back yourself. And literally, with this film was my nightmare. It actually was from my nightmare. I woke up from, so we kind of, myself and my husband, we went through kind of a year that was full of trauma. So we'd one big traumatic event into another big traumatic event. And it was kind of one of these things where I went to sleep and your thoughts are kind of crazy and rushing. And I just had this such bad nightmare, which is the twist and stuff. And I remember being so freaked out. I woke up and did you ever wake up like you see it in the movie? You wake up and you're literally dripping in sweat. Like never happened to me before. And I was just like so panicked by this. I didn't want to go to sleep for weeks. I was just so afraid every time I closed my eyes that this dream was going to come back again, and I didn't want to relive it. And that time I'd taken up acting. That's how I actually got into acting, was these traumatic events and stuff and writing. And it just turned out I'm actually really good at it. And like I decided I'm going to write about this. I'm going to turn this into a film and I'm going to turn this thought process around. So what was haunting me, I became excited for. I literally started with that part of the nightmare. And then I built all these characters around it. And then I built all these storylines around it. And I just went from there. And I remember like just being so excited to sit at the laptop and go, I need a half an hour just write, and my husband, my kids are just going, leave me alone. Like they've been so supportive during this whole thing. Like, and my son is actually in it. He's Danny, he's a little fella. But yeah, so like I just kind of embraced it, wrote about it, and then just like fast forward then 2 years where myself and my husband then ended up in another kind of traumatic event where we ended up doing palliative care for my grandmother. And I remember like when she passed away, I was just so lost and I didn't know what to do with myself. I don't know if you've ever experienced that where you're so busy and then you
Yeah.
get this big, huge gaping void. So like, and what you've just gone through has just been, so emotional. And I remember my husband just said like, you need a project. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not motivated. I'm not in the headspace. And then he was like, do your movie. I think it's time you do your movie. And I was like, yeah, but I said like, no funding body will give me money to do it because it was always closed doors. And he said, do it yourself. He said, do it yourself, back yourself. He said, do it. He said, I know you can do it. It's in you to do it. So just go away, get up and get out and do it. And I said, okay. And it was the end of, so my nan passed in like the start of June. And at the end of June, I turned around and I said, I'm going to shoot a feature film and I'm going to start on the 19th of August. And I literally only gave myself that window to go and do it. And we did.
Fantastic. I mean, you sound so passionate about it. It's a passion project. I'm delighted it got you out of a dark place, and I'm a great believer in everybody should have some form of release. Everything isn't always about work. I do think that you need to take time out. I think it's important that, whether it's a hobby, whether it's an amateur thing or a professional thing, I think it's important that that you do have some sort of a release because we're living in very challenging times. On top of that, we lived through 2 years, probably the most difficult times anybody's ever experienced. and that was during COVID. And I can relate to what you're talking about, because just before COVID, I lost my own dad, and during COVID, I lost my father-in-law, who I was very, very close to. And they're dark times, but I was able to throw everything I had into working online with all of the independent filmmakers all over the world. In fact, the Underground Cinema got even bigger during COVID, because we had to switch from live screenings to online screenings, and all of a sudden we were reaching out to a much bigger audience, and we were connecting with so many different filmmakers. So I'm turning a sort of a negative into a positive here, Maria. It was a great time for sounds crazy, but it was a really great time for me to explore independent cinema even further. So yeah, and the other thing I noticed as well is I had visions of you in post-production, and music seems to be really important to you as well. And I really enjoyed the pieces that you picked. In particular, the last song actually really good at the end. It's quite poignant as well. A lovely piece of music.
Yeah, like sorry to hear about your own experience, but like yeah, turning positive, and everyone does need that outlet. I encourage everyone, no matter who I talk to, because when you know my whole backstory, which is quite crazy, and you'd probably need an hour in this podcast to cover it. But like I always would encourage anyone who is ever feeling down to just go get an outlet and release that energy. And I know I Wish You Were Here is one of those things that like is probably going to give people hope to keep going, and hopefully keep going and never give up. But yeah, with the music, I'm very visual when I write. um so um when I would sit down to write any piece, and like I have a lot, so this is my debut for a reason, because I have a lot more to come. And all of my scripts, when you go in, I always have a list of my soundtracks. So every scene, if there's something in the scene, I'm like, this is the music to go with it. It's in my head. I've visualized, and they were always in it. So like Stephanie Rainey's "Please Don't Go" was always in it. I always knew it was going to be used twice. The Kudos, Island Boy and Fragile Thoughts. Oh my god, loved it. And the thing is, every scene they're used in, when you listen into it, it's so poignant to the scene it's in. And The Perfect Me actually came about by Harda Hasha, who's my music composer. He has a Spanish band. No, I can't even try to pronounce it, because I've never done Spanish. I did German, and I was apologizing to him after my 96 FM interview, because I was like, I probably like mangled your band's name. But the song is called The Perfect Me. And Alessandro, he's one of the writers on it, and he's Harda Hasha. And I remember going, I'm looking for a song to close out this, and we use it in another scene as well. And I remember I had a few, and he said, I have a band, and I think I have the perfect song. And I was like, okay, I'm all open. I don't remember, like, he sent it to me, and he sent it with the last scene in particular. And I remember it tugged my heartstrings, and I just went, oh my sweet Jesus, this was written for the film. It's like one of those really strange. It was the same with like Fragile Thoughts. It was just you'd swear the girls had wrote it for the film, for the two scenes it's used in, because we use one half on one scene and we break up the other half and we use it in another scene. And the words just so flow well with the script. It's scary. And
Yeah,
I was absolutely honoured that they came on board.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's a fantastic addition to the film. And you mentioned there that you have a lot more, and that was my last question was what's coming next? What are your future projects? You're telling me you've got a lot of scripts ready. Are you going to do
I have
another
a lot of
short or
scripts
another
ready.
feature?
No, so it's feature. So I'm so Subdued, that was also in the 15th Underground Cinema Awards. That was just a 10-minute scene of um a feature I'm writing. And it was
Yeah,
a very condensed down 10 minutes, because I was given 10 minutes to shoot it, so we had to really condense it down. But that's quite a dark kind of. I get to play a really dark character in that. I like playing really dark characters because I kind of like. I know people shy away from playing dark characters because they don't like to, go down that route. I love it. Like I find going in character so easy. I don't need much time to get into character. I'm not someone that like has to go away for an hour and think of something sad. Literally, I have an emotional scene in the film, and I remember Hannah was like, "Go away and lock yourself in a room there for about half an hour." I was like, "I am not going into that character right now." I was like, "That's so draining," and she's like, "What?" She's like, "No, you have to you have to go away. You have to get into character." I was like, "Just a chance." I was like, she goes, "When are you going to be ready?" I was like, "Okay, when you call rolling camera, rolling sound." I said, "I'll be ready." She goes, "You are not going to be ready." She said, "When I say that." I said, "I will." So I remember myself and Shane. Shane was actually getting me mic'd up, and he was like, we were having a bit of an adult joke, so we were both kind of like hysterically laughing at the time. And I remember Hannah goes, "All right, so roll camera, draw us out." And she thought I wasn't going to do it. And next of all, by the time they had responded, my lip was quivering, the tears were rolling, and her mouth behind the camera just went, "What?" Like, she said it was her favorite scene actually from the whole film. Just how that transition happened so fast. She was just like, you know. But yeah, so yeah, I wanted to play a really dark character in Subdued. My friends said I played it a bit too well. They were kind of concerned for my husband. I assure you, he is well. He is safe. I'm not that character in real life. I'm quite bubbly. And then I have a 6 by 45 minute episode TV series comedy. It's a dark comedy drama, and that one, my character gets to she gets to play all the emotions, every single emotions. It will have you laughing, it will have you crying, it will have you on the edge of your seat. It's one of those really, really big ones, and I'm trying to get it off the ground at the moment. I might have to do a crowdfunder or something to get it going, but it's definitely one that this world needs. There's nothing out there like it. And it is absolutely hilarious. I remember doing a read through, like I have this practically cast already. Like, all I need is the money. And I remember we did it, and people were just pissing themselves laughing. They literally, none of the actors could stay on camera because the lines were just so funny. We had other people watching it, to come in on it, and they had to turn off their cameras and their microphones so we couldn't see them because all they were doing was laughing the whole time. So I know it could be huge. You know yourself. I'm not going to get funding. I'm starting out. No one wants to back me, so hopefully we can make it work.
Well, I really hope it goes really well for you, Maria. You're a great filmmaker. We're delighted that you sent your work into us at Underground Cinema. We can't wait to see what you've got coming up in the future, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thank you to yourself and the team. I really do appreciate it. You've given us such great exposure, and even to get nominated, is such a huge achievement. It really does mean a lot. And you're doing a great job with the Underground. I'm looking forward to coming up now to Dunleary and just absorbing the atmosphere and being at my first award ceremony in person.
Yeah, no, it'll be a great night. So we look forward to seeing you up in Dunleary.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to it.
Okay, Maria, take care now.
Thank you. Bye.